Okay, I know the last video was actually the Bronco 2 that we just picked up for Lisa. Gonna take a little detour here and gonna start another quick project for my buddy Eric. And what we have here is Eric's, I think this is a 93 Ford Explorer. And what we're gonna be doing here is, Eric picked this truck up from down south, I believe in Georgia. It's a 70-some thousand mile, all original, unmolested, four-door Explorer. And what Eric did was, he picked up off our buddy Dan with the other V8 swapped straight axle Bronco 2, now known as Sarge. Dan upgraded to 37s, so now Eric bought Dan's old 35-inch Falcon mud terrains. And those are going to be going on this truck. Well, how are we going to fit those on this truck? You're probably asking. Well, since Dan did the straight axle swap using all the Duff parts, just like I did on Gilligan, Eric purchased all of Dan's original James Duff Stage 3 TTB lift. So I'm going to be putting that on the front of this truck, and in the rear, because the Explorers are factory spring under configuration, I have built another disc brake 8.8 out of a newer Ford Explorer with matching 488 gears to go with the front Dana 35 that he bought off Dan. I'll show you that in a second. And I'm going to be setting this up as spring over. That new perches, going to get all that set up. That right there should net about 5 inches, 5.5 inches of lift on the back of this truck. Come up with some new shock mounts, extended brake lines, and basically you got a cheap, really cheap 5-inch lift in the back of this truck. We do have some extended Beltec shackles should he need it. So between the Duff lift in the front, the shackles in the rear, spring over conversion, we're gonna have a monster SUV here when we're done. So show you here some of the other parts. So I believe these are Mickey Thompson 15 by 10, and these are the Falcon Wild Peak MT35 1250s. Nice tires. It's gonna look really good on there. And then what I recently completed for Eric, this is a whatever, mid 90s, late 90s Explorer 8.8. Everything's new in it, all new bearings. I put 488 gears in it, so the factory limited slip. All new brakes, even went so far as to rebuild the parking brakes in it. So hopefully we can get those working correctly with the truck too, since this truck has drum brake 8.8 with the drum brake parking brake too. So gonna have to figure out a way to make all that work together. And then over here, here's all the Duff TTB lift. We have the heavy duty cross member, the progressive rate springs, all the shocks, long radius arms. Dan had already done the full size Bronco Dana 44 knuckle swap on the outside. So this is 5-on 5.5 bolt pattern now. So it's got the bigger knuckles, the bigger U joints, the bigger brakes. So it's got all the good upgrades to it, the better hubs, better lockouts. So nice upgrade for this truck. So yeah, so these wheels are 5-on 5.5, and in the rear we do have adapter spacers because this axle is 5-on 4.5. I think Eric's talking later about doing the Yukon axle swap to get the same bolt pattern in the rear. So here's where we are now, and I'm just getting started digging into this. So since these first gen Explorers are basically the same as a Ranger first gen Bronco 2s, if you're ever curious on how to lift these or about the James Duff suspension parts, if they also work on these, I'm going to show you how to go ahead and bolt all that stuff on this and make it all work on this truck too. And the purpose with this truck for Eric is Eric has a growing family. he is an off-roader, and I'm hoping he's going to want to do a lot more off-roading and hopefully bring his family along with the club here. So this thing is going to be 100% streetable. I know Eric does a lot of driving with work, so this thing's going to be able to cruise down the expressway. He'll be able to drive it anywhere, anytime. What's cool about this truck too is obviously it's 4-liter, but it's also a 5-speed stick, so that's kind of cool. So this thing with 488 gears, 35s, it's only got 74,000, 73,000 miles, whatever it is. Should be a really cool truck when it's done. So I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing into it. Well, I already have tore into it already, but I'm gonna go ahead and start a whole nother series of building this. And sit tight, check out the videos, and if you got any questions on it, just hit it up below, and let's get into it.